Good day, everyone. The big day is finally here. The grand finals of both the console and the PC brackets. For console, we got the buff guy against Ducker, which will be our first match coming up. And for this final, I'll be joined by Meme Junkie. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, by the lovely 420.
What's happening, everybody?
And his better half, Gordi.
How you doing, mate? Good to see you all.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me. Wow, what a day we have in front of us, right?
It should be good. It should be really, really good. I mean, it's lovely to see the buff guy in the final. First final for that dude. Of course, he is a returning rival, but he's got his work cut out. I know he's already beaten Ducker once this tourney, but he's got to do it all over again. We know that Ducker likes a comeback.
I mean, the fact that the buff guy is coming in from the winner bracket is already super impressive. If you look at all the players that were also in there and didn't make it to the final, like great players like I Like Hitman, 420, T-Nord, like it's a speedster. It's like crazy impressive from the buff guy. And like you mentioned, Gordy, for him to actually beat Ducker in the winner bracket semifinal, it's just well, everyone loves an underdog story, right?
No, I prefer the winners.
I mean, I've got to say, can we really call Ducker an underdog in this match?
Underdog.
Like, I know he has lost to Buff this tour, and he buffs the winners bracket guy, but that just evens the playing field, in my opinion. I don't think there is an underdog. I think they're both very, very strong, both deserving to be here today. And this is going to be a hell of a match.
Yeah, sure.
Yep, something I noticed beforehand was this console bracket, I believe, is the most stacked ever. Like, all the powerful players were there. So, yeah, Buff's certainly gone through the gauntlet.
You look at he dropped all of 3 maps the entire way through. He dropped one to TK47, a roulette rookie who had a really good tourney, and the other 2 that he dropped were to Ducker in the semi-finals. So yeah, he's had a hell of a run through some very strong opposition there, and that's something to take note of, I think. And of course, you can see all this stuff on rrstats.currymaker.net.
Hey,
official partner.
On a related note to that, just looking at that run through of maps he's made, he played Santa Fortuna twice and won it both times, including against Ducker last time they played. And that, of course, is today's opening map.
Yeah, I mean, the buff guy is a huge fan of the Big Five, how he likes to call it themselves. So the bigger maps, so Santa Fortuna, Mumbai, Berlin, Colorado, and Haven. And not unsurprisingly, he picked 3 of those himself.
I was going to say Santa Fortuna was his pick, wasn't it? If we look at Buff's picks, he's picked Santa Fortuna, Berlin, or however you pronounce it, Haven, and Sapienza. So, 2 out of 5 good maps there, or 4 good maps even.
Yep, and before this match, I was contacted by a certain Duck for tips on Santa Fortuna. So I think he got a little bit shook after the last match.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been upfront about it, that Santa Fortuna is among his weaker maps, if he even has those. I mean, he's a 5 times champion, of course. But it is the map that he feels the least comfortable in. So, yeah, smart pick by Buff. Also, to go back to what Meme Junkie said earlier, like how stacked this console bracket was. It's never been strong before. And also, we had Janini actually joining the console bracket again as well. So it's just, like Meme said, crazy stacked.
Yeah, I see Ducker here has played 10 times, 5 wins. Now, I'm pretty sure he has positive win rate on every map, doesn't he? I'll check that.
He should.
Soon tell you.
There's a few below 50. But yeah, Ducker's always known to have win rates positive on every map. But this is indeed one of them. It's not above 50.
Lie, actually. I wouldn't have thought Sapienza was in his bottom 3.
No.
That's an interesting statistic. Taking only 3 wins out of, 9 matches, is that?
Out of 9, yeah. And New York is 1 out of 3, so the same ratio.
Yes, something I noticed about that also as well earlier was when you look at console players' win ratios, if you divide it by RRWC against PC, when it comes to New York, I wouldn't be surprised if you find the losses were to PC or New York, which would make sense.
Sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Unless you're playing against someone who's playing on a controller on PC. What idiot would do that?
I know.
What about Buff Guy then? Let's have a look. What's at the bottom of his map list? 2 maps that he's only played once and lost on, Whittleton and Mendoza. Have they been picked this match?
So a quick look.
No.
Mendoza was banned by Buff.
No Whittleton
Has
pick
not
up.
been
both
picked. No,
maps
totally
are
left
banned.
out.
Kind of let off the hook there, I guess. Yeah, of course, like I say, the stats don't tell the full picture anyway, because you never know who the losses were to and what happened. We've obviously seen some unfortunate situations throughout the years of the tourneys now. Not every loss is fully deserved, but
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned this a couple of times before. That's why I put more value on like just the amount of maps a player has played, like just experience in a tournament match. I put more value on that than the actual stats. I mean, it does tell a story, of course, but not the whole story, you know. But you can see, like, for example, if you look at Ducker, as mentioned, he played it 10 times, one half of it, like not the best win rate, but that still means like he's played this map 10 times in a tournament setting. So he's well experienced there, you know.
Well,
Yeah,
there are lies, damn lies, and statistics, aren't there? And one thing you can always say is you never actually know how you're going to play until you actually start playing. You get that first rip under your belt, things start going a little bit sideways. Can you keep your emotions in check and stop yourself from snapping that controller in half, or can you just like, okay, reset, go again? I'm not worried about what my opponent's doing. I'm just gonna get out this spin. Or do you put your foot to the floor? It's always interesting to see how the boys react to any sort of adversity when it starts happening, because it will happen.
For sure. Meanwhile,
I
also
mean-
the predictions are up. Sorry, go ahead for 20.
I was just thinking quite the opposite, actually. I was thinking we should have a little gentleman's bet amongst ourselves as to which map they actually take a first rip and who it is. 'Cause both of these players are super strong. I could see us getting 2 or 3 maps deep without a rip quite easily.
Yeah, it's really gonna be spin dependent as well. I don't know. I agree with you there. I don't expect too many rips. It could still be a long final between these two, though. I wouldn't be surprised to see like an 8-6 score in the end.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that, to be honest. I think that would make my day.
agreed.
Yeah, in the winners bracket, with winners match when they both played Hokkaido. There was an uncharacteristic amount of rips from both players, like more than I'd seen the whole tournament to that date from them. It was
Yeah,
very odd.
What was the spin? What was the spin on that one? I don't even think it was that.
It involved
I didn't see
Jason
that.
Portman, but both players struggled so much
Oh
getting him.
yeah, the throwing of the briefcase hitting the wall rather than
Yeah.
into his room right from the from 47 Suite start and whatnot. Yes, yeah, oh yeah, that was oh, it must have been painful for the pair of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
fun
so
fact related to
Hokkaido is
that.
coming again.
That's going to be the deciding map if we get there. That's map number 8, Hokkaido.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hopefully they
So,
don't get
if we face
PTSD.
if we get to 7-7 after Sapienza, Hokkaido will be that 8th map, and they'll get a chance to redeem themselves and race
Yeah.
to the finish.
we would need to see a draw for that though, on at least one map.
Sure.
Well, the maps as they stand, we've got Santa Fortuna picked by Buff, and it alternates obviously then to Ducker, which was Mumbai, then Berlin, then Bangkok, then Haven Island, then Isle of Skye, then Sapienza, and then, as 420 just pointed out, Hokkaido, which would be the decider if we get that far. The banned maps, Miami was banned by Buff, alternating then to Ducker's ban, which was Chongqing, and Paris. In Colorado, come on, Ducker. Mendoza by Buff and Dartmoor by Ducker. So those 6 maps you will not see.
Exactly. And also, like the grand final, so it's first to 8. So we have a minimum of 4 maps at least, and a max of 8. So yeah, we'll definitely be here for a little while, and I'm not complaining at all.
No, not at all. But of course, once we've got the console business out of the way, we do have In for Fun versus Blythe. And 30, you were pointing out earlier on, we will be guaranteed a new champion on PC, a brand new one.
Yeah, for sure. Like, of course, In for Fun has won the World Championship back, the first edition, and but has not won an RR tournament yet. Surprisingly, he did make it to the final twice. But yeah, no RR titles for him yet, so that would be a first. And the same for Blythe, who joined us for the first time in RR6. So this is his 3rd tournament. And yeah, he's been very impressive this tournament, really. Knocking out a lot of great players, and definitely a force to be reckoned with. He has improved like a ton. It's incredible, really.
Yeah, he knocked me out as well.
Yeah, I mean, that just tells the whole story, right?
Not even close to the story.
Something I wanted to bring up about Buff Guy, actually. He also joined in RR6, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
Has only played literally the World Championships, and now into RR7, and he's finalist already. He's really taken the ball by the horns and said, "No, I'm going to own this."
Yeah, like
the fact that he's rematching Ducker for the finals is so poetic, because if he wins it, there's no doubt. Do you know what I mean? There's not like he's done it twice in one tournament. He's champion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, regardless of the outcome of this final, it's already crazy impressive from the Buff Guy. Like, to get this far, improve that much in such a short amount of time. And I also happen to know that Ducker actually expressed that the Buff Guy is the player that he feared the most from the console bracket. And he based that on how much Buff Guy practices. Like, Buff Guy practices every day on stream, like, for several hours. Whereas Ducker doesn't have that much time to practice anymore. So
and he doesn't just practice, he's put in the time to make a whole video series explaining and going over roulette in vast detail.
Yeah, and everyone
he's ironed out all the creases. His game theory is very solid.
Yeah. Well, Buff Guy did mention that was a big help to him himself. Like, to create those videos, he had to go through everything, and he said he improved a lot just by creating those series, which I believe straight away. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? He's in the grand final.
100%.
Now, you may want to refresh Ducker's stream. It is live for me. I don't see it on the main cast, so.
Will do.
Thing as well.
Yep.
I totally forgot what I was going to say then. No, not even had a beer yet, boys. As you can see by the counter, the timer on the screen obviously means the match will start. It also means that I can crack open a beer. So dual purpose timer there. So good work, Mr. Mike. Very good work. That's all we're going to say about that one. But,
yeah, also to give a little heads up about the caster structure. We will be having 2 casters per map, and we will switch it around every 2 maps. Meme Junkie and me will take the first 2 maps, then Gordi and 420, map 3 and 4, and so forth. And the same structure will be done for the PC final. Also, there will be a half-hour break between the 2 finals. I'll also reveal our roadmap for this month, for the upcoming events. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Just remember what it was as well. In previous tournaments, we have heard a certain Hitman YouTuber's voice come onto the player's stream when they've done some mid-match research. In this tournament, we've actually heard Buff Guy's stream voice coming on to other players' streams when they've been checking out a video to find something quick about the map, which I thought was pretty funny. Totally replacing that other guy, shall we say?
The other guy.
The other guy, yeah. Okay, so you got Santa Fortuna. What you want to do is this. Brilliant to hear. Very, very funny, I thought.
Yeah, we'll also have a post-match interview with the winner, so stay tuned for that as well.
Always love Ducker's interviews if he gets another one.
He just sounds so relieved that it's all over and he can go sit down in a dark room. Yeah. As well, in
all
Ducker
fairness,
as well,
Gordy, it's stressful in the finals, but you wouldn't know about that, would you?
It's stressful in the bloody first round, mate. I don't know. I dread to think what it's like in a final. But no, I mean, the other point of that as well, last time I remember interviewing Ducker on one of his tournament wins was he was 4-0 down, I believe.
Yep.
And then came back to just power through. And the relief, when we were talking to him, like I say, the relief was just palpable. You could feel it through the mic.
Yeah, and fun fact, that was actually against I Like Hitman. And the same thing happened again this tournament, where I Like Hitman took the first 2 maps, and Ducker yet again managed to fight back and eventually take the match. So
yeah, that was in the semi-final in the losers bracket. Well, basically the losers bracket final, the semi-final for the tourney, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Cracking match. And then, of course, that is all the matches are available or will be available to view on a playlist, which I'm sure one of the lads will post up at some point.
Yeah, when they're all complete.
Yeah, definitely worth going back and having a look through the archive if you want to either learn something about some of the spins, some of the maps, or just have a laugh at some of our play. And Curry, I should imagine, will be putting together a highlights package. Don't forget to submit any of your highlights. You go to the Discord. There will be a link in there. There'll be in the pinned messages somewhere. And submit any highlights you think, well, need highlighting. Any
I hope to see a bunch of them today.
Oh yeah,
some cool moments.
I was just looking at the predictions then, right? I was just about to point out that there was an 80-20 split to Buff Guy, which wasn't too surprising given it is his map. And I've literally just watched someone dump about 50k on Ducker.
Yeah, and just as you're speaking, it
landslide it the other way.
It went up to 70k for Buff again.
Sure, and now they're almost evens again. The predictions are going pretty wild right now. There's a lot of money being dumped, a lot of money to be won. If you're allowed to gamble in your country, get involved.
Exactly. All right, guys, we're a little less than 2 minutes away. Gordi and 420, I'd like to request you to take a little backseat, grab a beer, and get ready. Then Meme Junkie and me will take the first 2 maps, and then we'll get you guys back in here.
Have fun, boys. We'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, see you in a bit, guys.
See you.
So it is interesting that the only loss of Ducker is against Buff Guy, as you can see in the stats meme.
Yep. Now this lure that Ducker's doing for Rika right now, this is what I was talking to him about before the match. And he's adamant in his way, I'm adamant in my way, we're both not changing it. It's very interesting because, like, to me, I'm like, well, my way is obviously better. He's like, no, mine's better. Whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, we see that in various maps, right? Like a certain isolation done in various ways. Like Colorado Basement comes to mind. I've seen at least like 5 different versions of that. Like each just seconds apart, you know? And I think at that point it's also just important, like what are you most comfortable with, right?
Yeah, from what I see, it's because he's skipping the peekaboo that I do. So his adds a little bit of safety for a little bit of time. That's the difference I see.
Yeah. I mean, it's just gonna be, a few seconds difference max anyway, so as long as it works and it's reliable. We're 10 seconds away. Will you take the first spin for us, Meme, when it's live?
Yep. Hope there's not too much of a delay from you receiving it to me. Oh wait, I've got the spin link, don't I? Alright, here we go.
Shit.
Yeah, Rico, SMG, Tattoo Artist, Jorge, Kitchen Knife Chef, Andrea, Consumed, Gardener.
At first sight, that's not too bad. Not too difficult for kills. You just need to be aware of the timing for Andrea here. Let me also put some in-game audio up from Docker for the first map. So yeah, both players loading in very quickly. Knew immediately what to do. It's not a loadout heavy spin. Just, I mean, consume poison, you could get it from flowers, but you could just bring it, of course.
Yep, so off the top of my head, Andrea consumed is somewhere around 2 minutes, then 7, and then 5 every continues on every 5 minutes.
Roughly, yeah. I believe it was.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I remember a 6:30, I believe.
Yeah, I was about to say yes, 6:40. Yeah, so 2:40, 1:40, 6:40, etc.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Granted,
so here we see the two different
dialogue triggers. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so here we see the 2 different routes off the start. This is what I was talking to Ducker about. So we'll see who gets him first and how quick they're out.
It is interesting that the buff guy already got recorded though, so he does need to take care of that. Not that that's a huge issue. Very interesting to see this different approach. It's not gonna matter much in the end. Ooh, and Ducker misses his throw on the guard. You gonna waste a calmer on him? Oh, that's it.
If I recall correctly, this same thing happened in one of the other RRs where he missed that throw. But anyway, we take a look at the timing. So Buffs is going to be a little quicker, but he does obviously have cameras.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter all that much. But yeah, both. Well, it makes sense, right? Both of them starting as management staff, going for the Rico isolation straight away.
Yep. Now, of course, don't know which gardener they're going to go for. I guess we'll wait to see what it is. Interesting. A lot of people believe the gardener is free near the house. He will sometimes get scenes at like 12 minutes. Yeah, I don't think they're going to go for the free gardener disguise. That one's always a pain.
I personally prefer just the one at the mansion grounds, really, like those two when you climb the wall. Now it is interesting. They are diversing their strats now. Docker actually opting to go through the secret tunnel, which I'm personally a fan of with these disguises, really. And Buff Guy taking the long way around. So the small lead that he had is pretty much diminished already.
Although Buff's running somewhere where I'm not quite sure. I guess he's trying to trigger the Hippo law.
No, he's picking up a flower, so he didn't have to bring consume poison. That makes sense. Alright, Docker clearing out the 2 elite guards. He's under the bar now.
Alright, so I don't know if Ducker brought in consumed or not. Although it won't matter, it's going to be such a long time till it happens.
Yeah, I hope he did. So yeah, both players working on pea powder. They do have to be slowly start working on setting up the consume poison, assuming they want to get at the second cycle, like the 6.5 minutes we mentioned.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, having a mansion guard disguise is very good for setting up confuse poison because it's not trespassing, yet both players have lost that, even though Buff had it. So he's going to have to steal disguise to set that up.
Yeah. Also, having the tattoo artist for Rico is very convenient, as you're not going to be trespassing. So there's not going to be any problems there. And it seems like both players are opting to just take care of the Rico kill first. And in which case, like I said, I'm more of a fan of Docker's approach here. This is just way quicker. Buff guy has to go all the way around.
Yeah, so they're going to hit Andrea 3rd cycle, I guess.
Yeah, it does look like it.
Yeah, there's no way he's getting back there in 1.5 minutes. Oh, Buff guy's changed direction.
I mean, Buff could still make it though. If he sets up the poison right now and goes for the gardener, he should be able to make that.
Yeah, she doesn't get in till like 5:50 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, good diversion from Buff there. I mean, I don't know how much will matter in the end, but you definitely don't want to waste another 5 minutes waiting on Andrea.
No, you definitely want to get her that second cycle. So Ducker didn't kill Rico just yet. He just transported the tattoo artist disguise back to where he isolated Rico. Now he's gonna isolate the chef here, get that disguise. And he just needs to pick up a kitchen knife, which should be here as well. Yeah, there we go. So both players making some nice progress there. For Buff Guy, this can be a little tricky timing for poisoning this bottle with that one patrolling guard.
Yeah, he's safe now if he does it.
Yep.
Alright, so now he's got about 2 minutes to go grab a gardener. Which one will he get? Oh, he doesn't want to set off a panic here.
They should calm down before Andrea gets there though.
Yeah.
She's gonna stay downstairs a little bit to complain about the Wi-Fi or the cables, or it's something new every time with her.
Now, I know Buff knows the timing, and I'm just wondering, this is really tight to get the gardener in the house.
Yeah.
As in the mansion, he may have to get this one.
Yeah, he is gonna go for the free one, it looks like. He's actually gonna use a snail on these two. Well, that makes it safe.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I guess it was worth it for him to pick up the flower, right? So he could bring that snail instead, making this super safe.
Yeah, he knew that way earlier. I never saw that coming, so GG to that.
Meanwhile,
Ducker now he's stuck on a ledge.
Yeah, now he just has to wait, but he pretty much has said Andrea killed down. Ducker is at Jorge's hut. He's gonna get him on his second cycle to the hut, by the looks of it. Probably gonna shoot the window and throw it through there.
Yep. I gotta say, this backtracking Ducker's gonna have to do. He's gonna be 2 minutes behind IGT. I reckon Buff is gonna stream ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think Buff is slightly ahead here as well. Yeah, both players are approaching the first kill. Different targets here. There we go, distraction shot from Ducker for Jorge through the window. He will
just make sure Buff doesn't change too early.
No, that was correct. And pretty much at the same time, both players got their first kill. Buff got Andrea out of the way, Ducker just killed Jorge. Ducker's gonna really quickly get his second kill now though. He has the SMG, he has the pea powder outfit right at Rico.
Yeah, but his issue is he's not going to hit Andrea until at least like 11 minutes, 40, something like that. He's going to have a lot of waiting.
True, but Buff Guy still has to take care of the other stuff first. I mean, he's going to close in on the kill soon as well now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to come down to Ducker just standing at an exit. And Buff hoping he runs into a convenient cycle for Jorge. Pretty cool to see.
This could actually be really close when you look at it right now. Which is super cool with like different orders and approaches here.
Yeah, random. I definitely saw that as well. It's kind of interesting. You get stuck on everything.
And there we go. The Rico kill for Ducker. And Buff Guy 10 seconds behind. We'll get the kill now as well. Yes, look how even this is. 2 targets down for both players. Different targets though.
So I don't know if Buff had a Seeker. I don't think he did. I can't see if there's any stash. If Buff has a Seeker, I'd say he's ahead by a mile.
Yeah, I mean, he still does need to get the chef disguise. This could be really, really close. I don't think he brought a Seeker, to be honest. If he did, I missed it.
Some of the chat saying he did. So yeah, if I recall correctly, Andre's cycle is 5 minutes, so we're going to have Ducker at least 3 minutes from here. Or 2.5.
Yeah, I think it's still a slight advantage for Buff Guy here, assuming he approaches everything efficiently here. Now, did we see him pick up a kitchen knife already? Nothing.
Yes, he got it.
Alright, nice. What a great start already. First map. Both players are really in it. They're playing great so far.
Alright, so it looks like Buff Guy has good Jorge positioning. He is definitely in the right spot. Little bit of navigating here, but oh god, he could only be like 1 minute away from here.
Yeah, but look at the in-game time of Docker. Shouldn't take that much longer either. Docker should be done within 2 minutes as well.
Jeez.
So this is crazy.
Alright, Buff just needs to get... Oh, there's a guy right near him.
Did he hit that shot? I couldn't see. He turned around too quickly. Doesn't look like he did.
Yeah, I can't tell. Even if he does though, Ducker still has over a minute. If he has a spare seeker, I like to seek at this guard here. Oh, he got him.
Yeah, he did get him. Nice shot.
Yep.
And yeah, Ducker in the gardener disguise. Just like you said, Mimi, just as the way that exit. Buff Guy gets the kill on Jorge. You don't need to drag him. This is unnecessary. And Ducker sits on the bench. Wow. Nice passive aggressive. Oh, this is so close.
Yep. This is what I was thinking before. You seek at that dude, walk behind this dude, it's pretty safe.
Buff Guy, we can see at the screen, Buff Guy finished already. And that's the difference. Ducker had to wait for Andreas. Smart call from Buff there, really. To go for Andreas' second cycle. What a start.
that snail, God, makes me want to buy 7DS for that.
Yeah, that was amazing. Also, just him having the map knowledge of exactly knowing where that flower was. Like, we were both like, where is he heading to, right? And then he picked up the flower, and that makes sense. That allowed him to bring the snail. And tremendously speed up the free gardener disguise grab.
I gotta say, it looks a bit poignant and Ducker's screen just sitting there looking sad. It's like, can't do anything.
Exactly. And he didn't really make any mistakes. It was Buff Guy just had a better strat, a better approach here for this spin.
Yep. Alright, GG to Buff. I'm pretty sure he had the advantage on betting market. It was the last time I looked.
Yeah, he was the slight favorite. Which makes sense, of course. Just waiting for admin confirmation. A minute should have passed. For those unaware, we do have a photo finish. So if both players finish within 47 seconds of each other, the loading times will be distracted to get the most honest result. But yeah, Buff Guy takes his own map pick and leads. Let me pay out the predictions real quick. What an amazing start, of final. That was very entertaining.
Yeah, that was like, it's really, that shows, every time I watch Buff play, and his Santa Fortuna, I always mention how he told me he's played 1,000 Santa Fortuna spins. And you watch that play, and it's like, yeah, I might not doubt that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, he clearly put the time in, and it just shows. But yeah, early lead. Still has a lot to do, though.
Of course, that's not to say Ducker's strat wasn't bad. It's just, it's not good enough to win grand finals. That's really all there is to it. You'll win 99% of matches, but not the one.
Yeah, and like, he had a little struggle at the start, right, with the Rico isolation, with the missed throw. But other than that, like, 0 mistakes from Ducker. It was just flawless. And like you said, against most players, he probably still would have won that map. But Buff Guy was just on point, really. So now,
Alright, so yeah,
Mumbai,
Mumbai.
another big map. Look at the first 4 maps, I mean, all big maps, which is in Buff Guy's favorite, just solely basing it on his preference, of course.
Yep, I do find it funny how Ducker was farming Mumbai world records in RRWC, and then you get sniped by Pidgey by like 10 seconds, and then Buff beats that by a minute 30. I'm sure he wants that record back.
Yeah, I mean, records are fun and all, but it's also very spin dependent, you know? If you get like a complex spin, there's nothing you can do. You just won't have any shot at it. So yeah, if you look at the lifetime performance, Buff Guy played Mumbai 5 times. Won it 3 times, 1 loss and 1 draw. Ducker at the other end played it 15 times, 11 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. But one of the losses was against Buff Guy. So again, the first 2 maps, they have played it against each other. And in both cases, Buff Guy won it.
So yeah, I was casting that match as well. That was the most friendly spin I've ever seen in my life. And honestly, you feel like the only reason Ducker lost was because of an early side K on Maelstrom. And just then I watched him, I'm like, God, that's close.
Yeah.
Like, Buff doesn't make mistakes. Mumbai is usually pretty, straightforward, the flow that people go. For most spins, I'd say anyway. So ripping at the start,
Yeah.
it's going to cost you.
I mean, like Center Fortuna, Mumbai and Berlin, like especially those 3, like I see him stream those maps all the time. Like, I'm not watching all the streams, of course, all the time, but it does feel like those 3 are the ones he plays the most.
Alright, so I'm seeing Ducker do something different before. I don't think I've ever gone up this way myself. Is this to get the folding knife, I guess? Yep, it is.
Yeah, and the Kashmirian is here as well. He's just trying to stay focused and sharp. Just do a little play. Buff Guy.
Yeah, so the last...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, in RWC, Ducker showed off some very cool Vanya servant strats in the Taylor house, but they weren't working 100% of the time. So if we see that, I'm sure he's going to go for it again. He knows what he's doing. It's miles faster than anything else anyone else was doing.
Yeah, exactly. Also, if you take a look at the predictions, look how close it is. I mean, 28k versus 31k. Pretty much 50-50.
Yep, if I had more points, I definitely think this is Ducker's map. I mean, by the fact that he chose it so many times, it makes me feel like it's his favourite map. May not be his best map, but it's certainly his favourite, at least recently.
It is one of his strongest maps. I've talked a little bit with him about it, and he does rank it himself as like his top 3 strongest maps. But then again, like you mentioned, I mean, one mistake from Ducker, Buff Guy is prepared, he won't rip, so... On to the second map, guys, 5 seconds away. If you don't mind, I'll take this one, Meme.
Yep.
So, for the Maelstrom, we got a Big Staff as the Bollywood crew, Vanya Shah, Folding Knife as Laundry Worker, and Wood Rangan, Injected Poison as Food Vendor. That's not too bad, actually. Those disguises are pretty ideal.
Yeah, God, I have no idea. I mean, everyone defaults Skywalk start, but that's really confusing which way would be best here.
I mean, what I meant, like, you got the Folding Knife right next to Laundry Workers, and you got the Food Vendor disguise, like the taxi dudes, right for the standard wood isolation. So that's quite convenient for both players. And we do see a Skybridge start from Ducker.
Is hiding somewhere in the city slums. I've marked the headquarters of the Crows on your map.
And we see the same from Buff. Loading in a little later.
That's the Maelstrom. You found it.
So yeah, we see the standard isolations here and picking up the brick. Now there are several big staffs on the map, Meme. Which one do you usually go for?
Well, if I remembered, I get the one near the bridge where he walks past and lead actor spews up.
Yeah.
Which looks like to be where Duck is going exactly right now.
Yeah, that's also the one that I usually pick up.
Oh, he's
walked
turned
past it.
around.
You walked past it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Can the Holy Man carry it?
No. But the funny thing is,
we
it
go.
does fit in a briefcase. Yeah, this is the one that buff guy is picking up. That's the one I always go for.
And he's got the briefcase, yep, he knows.
Yep.
It's looking a bit spooky for Ducker.
Yeah. Let's get the laundryman outfit though. You should open the vase for the coin. Or for the key, I mean, sorry. Some nice panic there, guy running out. And yeah, the folding knife is right up here, so that's just a very convenient combination, really.
I'm getting dizzy trying to watch both players to figure out where they are, where they're going. God, this is hard to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, buff guy is just where Ducker was and they both went for the same strat and the same disguise, calmering that laundry dude.
Oh yeah, it would appear that Ducker's route is considerably faster then, since he has a little bit of IGT. Oh wait, does Buff have the folding knife? Looks like he's turning around.
Yeah, he forgot to pick it up. So that will cost him roughly a minute here.
Lost the folding knife, it gained the beak staff.
I don't know where he... Yeah. He left his briefcase somewhere.
This is interesting. I hope a guard didn't take it, because... Yeah.
And he gets ripped, found trespassing. I also have no clue where a guard would even take a briefcase from that point on, where he left it. Alright, so very big lead for Ducker here. Just threw in the brick. Gonna work on the Vanya isolation here. Pretty standard stuff at this point in time.
Yep, looks like Buff's letting someone know what he thinks about it, but I can't hear it. I mean, I'm not sure what he's mad about, because that was definitely his fault. He shouldn't have gone there.
I mean, he could just be mad at himself, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna see the standard isolation for Ducker here, that pretty much everyone has adopted at this point.
We're gonna see Snail from Ducker? Nope. Let's do it normally.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a little bit of bumping. Now I do always prefer to get the Rima chick first. I believe you agree with that as well, right?
Yeah, because she walks into the pole where Ducker is right now, and she always does a 180. It's weird.
Yep.
Well, it may not be always, but it's surprisingly often. It makes no sense. So Ducker's going to have to do a little backtracking to go find a big staff in a in a legal disguise. But what, 3.5 minute IGT lead? He'll catch up. I mean, it'll be hard for Buff to make up that difference.
Yeah, I mean, he got the Maelstrom isolated anyway. He's not going anywhere, so no rush. He's just gonna focus on getting the taxi driver, which who has 2 jobs. He's also a food vendor, and he's gonna get ready for the run gun kill. Really?
Yeah, Pidgey, I think, yeah, he'd probably just chain disguise to get the big staff up there, bring it over with the thug. Anyway, live method for Dawood, not the most free thing in the world.
That's true, but I imagine we're gonna see a snail play here from Ducker to get the other taxi driver and all the guards. And the wood will be turned around. Should allow for an easy injected poison kill there.
Yep, so it looks like Buff is going a different way around, is he?
Yeah, again he's going up. He wants to infiltrate that that area with the folding knife from a different angle. It looks like. Not a huge fan of that. Seems a bit time consuming.
Yeah, there's definitely where he's going past right now. There's like toilet shacks on the side of the river. You can call them a toilet. Just jump down them.
Yeah.
It's a lot quicker. Here we go for Ducker.
Yeah. Also good awareness from Ducker there to not change into the food vendor already, because the other one is an enforcer to that disguise. Don't change too quickly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Darwood Rangan is confirmed killed.
And that's the second kill down already.
Just one target left. Let's bring this one home.
So Ducker is gonna opt to retrieve the Bollywood crew disguise first, which makes sense.
Yep, still to find a beak staff though. A little bit annoying. Try to, like I said, I probably have to change disguises. Buff's just doing the same thing as before, so yeah.
Yeah, it's all in Ducker's hand now, really. Careful, Ducker. Oh, this is... Alright, he does get the calmer set off. I was gonna say, this does seem a little overcomplicated, how Ducker approached this disguise grab. But he does manage to get it, just needs big staff.
Yeah, of course the big stuff is near Maelstrom, but he's still going to have to get non-trespass, illegal disguise to carry it. There's not really any free ones around here. This dude, get him in the tunnel.
Yeah, does still have a little work cut out for him. Oh, he has a briefcase. Of course, from the... he still had that. That makes it easier.
That's right, yeah, I thought we lost that, alright.
Yeah, he just left it
Yeah,
at
pretty
the maelstrom, so it should be over within the next minute, I'd say. Flawless performance here from Ducker. Buff guy struggling a little bit here. It was mainly the laundry area that that kept the buff guy back a bit. Little struggle here, and Ducker just blazing through, really.
And of course the beak staff does make that annoying sound, so yep, got to move it. God, even then I wouldn't be confident in it, how loud it is. See what happens.
I mean, it's not just the big stuff, like every thrown item on a knocked out body is just loud. Way louder than a live throw. But yeah, that's a big GG from Ducker there. Flawless, really.
Yep, GG. Oh, now Chris told me that all Mumbai spins are either 5:30 or I think 10:30. So you're wrong there. Sorry.
Yep. All right, we're gonna have a little shift of the cast here. We're gonna have Agent 420 and Gordi taking the next two maps, which will be Berlin and Haven. Meme, we will be back for map 5. Well, it's 2-2, so we're definitely gonna have a 5th map already.
Alright, cool. See yous.
Yep.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys.
Luckily, it is Berlin and Bangkok, not Berlin and Haven. But yeah, me and 420, me and 420 getting the primo maps.
Yeah, good luck, guys. I'll be back later.
Alright, Froggy, see you in a bit. So Berlin, obviously, Buff Guy is a big fan of Berlin 420. What are you hoping to see there? Non-roll floor stuff?
I don't mind actually. Just want to see once again really close, tight fort map. Quite frankly, I think Berlin offers a lot of variety, so we could quite easily see a lot of variety. But at this point in the finals, I don't mind seeing them go head to head on something where they both know what they're doing.
Sure.
Berlin does offer some complexities, even in its simpler strats. So I'm just looking for a good race.
Well, I think we've got a good race so far. I mean, Santa Fortuna was a See, Ducker sat at the buff stop waiting for Andrea to die.
What a turn of events.
Yes. And obviously Mumbai buff getting that rip there by trying to breeze through a frisk point. But, I mean, obviously you can see where he is at the moment and what Ducker has just done. Very similar in strats, apart from the fact Buff has already got the beak staff at the Maelstrom. But Ducker making absolutely no mistakes at all. Buff getting some big whoosh there. Obviously not trespassing, so no danger of a peekaboo, but obviously finishing off his spin because, well, he's a goddamn man. He said he'd do it, he's going to do it.
What do you think to Ducker at 10-1 on Berlin?
Whoa.
That just about sums it up, doesn't it?
That really, really does. I mean, we know Buff is a Berlin enthusiast. He's been here 7 times, 4 wins, 3 losses. But yeah, Ducker, 10 out of 11. That's some percentage. Both these guys not played each other on this map though.
Not yet.
Not yet, just about to, and we get the best seats in the house for that one. So I'm quite looking forward to that.
I know, but I wait for
Of course,
each other plays out.
as we were saying at the top of the stream, Froggy has got predictions
Only to
enabled.
eliminate the target.
So don't forget to go and bet your clown points if you're allowed to in your country, and of course, please
You need to
gamble
lighten up a little.
responsibly. Clown points do not grow on trees, after all.
Patience, Joe.
Ducker here getting some last minute practice at the roll floor. Knows how influential that is in this map. Kind of, I think was it him that we saw kind of use it questionably not too long ago.
Was it questionably or just trying variations of it?
No, I think it's more a case of like it wasn't
wrong.
appropriate for the spin,
Yeah.
but it happened anyway. But it might not be Ducker, so I won't open my mouth too much. I think it was so.
I got a feeling it might have been. It does sound familiar. But
The whole
today-
of chat was just like, why?
Well, today is another day, and it is Grand Finals day of all days.
Entering here, Schmuller's office.
It was
Target is
Roulettemas
waiting.
Eve yesterday.
Now you know what to
Today
do.
is Roulettemas. And I'm looking forward to this. I really, really am. I'm so glad we got Berlin. Much, much better map than, to commentate on than Haven and Scale. So sorry, Froggy. Sorry, me. You did the Lord's work by taking those 2 off of our hands. Yeah, we've got 47 seconds until the spin is here. Buff guy still got a smile on his face at the moment. We'll see how long that lasts.
Hard to pick a favourite going into this map again because you've got Ducker with 10-1 just glaring at you, like.
Yeah.
And then Buff is such a Berlin enthusiast. You know what I mean? His knowledge of the map is top notch.
He's such a Berlin enthusiast. He's even got a different his own pet name for the place. He calls it Berlin or something. It's really cute the way he's picked out a little nickname for it.
I think he's fired up now as well because he's taken that rip and it's cost him. And I think hopefully he's over that hump now. He's really fired up and ready to attack this.
Sure. Okay, well, the spin is here, and we have agent number 1 with an explosive weapon as the dealer. We have agent number 2 with a screwdriver in the suit. Agent number 3 has to be dispatched using an old axe as the Florida man. Silence pistol as Rolf Hirschmuller for agent number 4, and the final kill is explosion accident as a technician. Good mix there. We've got a suit start, so no Rolf. Probably, I would think we might even see a radio tower start because of the silence pistol. Or are we seeing some rave on action?
Debatable. I think both are plenty viable.
Yeah.
Of course, the only thing you're really required to bring in is the silence pistol, so you can bring that in a smuggle point up for
You
Ravon.
can.
Buff, however, has taken the long route and decided I'm only doing it once, so the 30 seconds is irrelevant.
Sure.
It's a fair approach.
Ducker
As of
starting
course.
and rave on.
I'm looking at the
Straight
spin.
away.
I think the spins, like you said, it's a good mix. It's got the things that you don't really want to see.
Yes.
Like as a player, at least, you know what I mean. You got Dealer, Florida, and the old axe. You're like, oh my god.
Oh, sorry about
But
that.
then on the flip side of that, you've got a lot of things that make up for it: silence, pistol kill, explosion, accident kill, screwdriver kill. Nice simple things to do. So I think it has got a good balance to it. This spin.
Yeah, Bruce, as you can tell, is really excited. Bruce, calm down. But yeah, Dealer and Florida Man. Well, and especially starting in the suit as well. That does make things a bit more interesting. I just heard Buff express his opinion on the spin. He was not so keen on it. He's not as keen on this spin as we are. But he's going to get on and do it anyway.
Taking an interesting way in as well. He's opted not to go over the roof for green and instead come directly for Thames. Which is not something we see too often.
Yeah.
Got him. Showtime.
So leave him there. He can't even. There we go.
Good work. Now press the advantage while you
Yeah,
still
he
can.
Buff set Thames up with a breacher. So, and a perfectly safe spot as well. You can leave him there. Nobody should go over there.
Ducker, on the other hand, is going to knock. I reckon he might actually just knock Banner out, take his clothes and blow him up right there.
Makes an awful lot of sense.
Here he comes. That.
There's Banner. Bop.
Which is obviously one of the things Buff has foregoed by taking this route is that he hasn't took the Banner lure, giving him access to the tech disguise.
Ducker leaving the tech disguise there for the time being. Doesn't need a screwdriver though.
Thought it was going for the quick kill there, but
yeah,
apparently not.
Okay, Buff guy taking out the delivery guy. So he gives him the scooter keys. Like, that was the thing as well. There could have used that for the Lowenthal. Lowenthal obviously carries a big block of C4, and in that room where he goes to puke, it is soundproof once both the doors are closed. But he did bring in his own breacher and has set up Thames for that, so he's got other ideas.
Yeah, that's very much a surprise, especially when you've got a explosion accident as well, and you might want to drive by that.
Yeah. With the breacher, yeah, of course.
Funnily enough, Buff has just knocked him out in the bathroom there. With the explosive will no doubt be sat on the floor there.
Just picked up his stash, which was a silenced pistol. Ducker is setting up a Swan, isn't it? He's just set up Swan for an explosion accident kill. Put himself a detonator and a leaking propane there. Just grabbing himself Thames.
Still yet to come across a screwdriver.
And Buff, just with the screwdriver kill, gets Lowenthal in the bathroom with his suit. In his suit with a screwdriver. So one kill down for Buff guy. Bit of setup done here as well. He also has Swan knocked out. Interesting to see though, Swan, Lowenthal, and Thames. None of those are the disguise you need either. Swan, of course, there is no disguise, but no club crew or biker required for the spin.
Yeah, once again, the Florida Man and Dealer specifically, I think, are going to be huge turning points in this map in how the two players approach it. 'Cause while they're doing vastly different stuff, they still think they're kind of keeping pace with each other with what they're ticking off. They've got a long list of jobs to get through, quite frankly, and
yeah,
neither of them are faltering, neither of them are messing about. They're just getting it done. It's really tough to call at this stage who's actually in the lead, despite the one kill lead, of course, for Buff Guy.
Yeah.
Ducker's got some good leg work done as well.
Okay, screwdriver killing suit done for Ducker. He takes out Agent Thames. Bit of a pause there, just having a little think. He's deciding to go down via the drain pipe, by the looks of it, to Rolf Hirschmuller's office.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Buff Guy, on the other hand, is borrowed the biker's disguise to go and fetch the old axe nice and easily. He's just making his way through the bar.
Yeah,
that's drop that off, and what does he need for that? Florida Man, so that'll be left around for later.
Yeah, you can leave that over here for Swan, and that's exactly what he's done. Okay, interesting Rolf lore, as it were, for Ducker. Okay, Rolf is knocked out.
I think you always need to watch out for Berlin. I'll mention it now, and hopefully our players have it under control. Is that if you don't deal with them, those two guys are going up to the roof.
Oh yeah,
because
of course.
Rolf's in the cupboard.
Yes, they'll start moving.
With the amount of stuff that's been left about, I'm not sure if any of it's on their route.
Well,
there's obviously
Banner
a lot of
is on the
bodies
stairs. Banner is on the stairs for Ducker, isn't he? So they will find him.
Not sure they go up as far as Banner is, though.
I thought they went all the way to the roof for some reason.
They do, but I'm not sure. I think they go the underground path, maybe, and then up from the biker's place. Either way, that is something to watch out for. Ducker on the other side of that, though, goes and gets Silence Pistol Rolf. Third shot, we'll blame the pistol for that. Why not?
Controller aim there, wouldn't it?
Definitely at this point, we've got to put him in the lead now. 2 kills to 1. So much setup done.
Well. Yeah.
Buff guy here is starting to stall for the first time in this match, looking for, I believe, Florida Man.
Nicholas Valmerez. Of course, there are a few troll silhouettes as well when looking for that dude. You got a few with ponytails, a few that dance the same way as him. It can be quite confusing once you're on the hunt for him.
Wow.
And I can hear Buff expressing some frustration. Where is he?
This is all dead time here. Of course, he doesn't want to move because he knows he's good. It's one of them. You move away and then he'll go behind you and go where you just was. Like, come on, dude. So he don't want to move and mess himself up even further. But
yeah, and he's got to get out of the way of Chamberlain here as well. And Chamberlain's a little mate. And of course, now he's triggered the conversation because he's so close. Checking in. He's not a happy boy. Not a happy boy at all.
Tucker, of course, still just making progress. I'm not sure where he's out for right now, but I think it... No, I'm just not sure where he's going right now, actually.
He's going round the back towards the dealer as Buff. Now, Ducker, meanwhile, is still in Rolf's little pretty costume. Himself looking for Florida Man action.
Of course, being dressed as Rolf, he can just get straight past Montgomery there because he's not an enforcer. Just, oh, there's Florida. That is found him.
There he goes, found him, and he's going to pop a remote emetic for him. Hopefully, just making Nick sick.
Yeah, he gets it.
And Buff has got himself the dealer. Dangerous, popping a detonator in the middle of a bunch of crowded people there, but he does have the explosive weapon dealer kill. So
now, if he finds Florida Man, he can at least lure him away as the dealer. So that was definitely a good call to crack on and get that done.
He does have a seeker in hand as well. We do know he used one on. There we go, Ducker getting the Florida Man himself.
As Florida Man, but he doesn't have the old axe yet. It's important to note. Buff Guy
that's
does.
True.
So once he gets that Florida Man, if he does it soon, he could definitely take the lead here again. It looks like he might have been moving on to Rolf.
Yes, I think he's just really quite annoyed with not being able to find Florida Man.
I can't lip read. I've got him intentionally turned down so I can concentrate.
Yeah. I've got him on quietly in my ears just in case, you know. Ducker's going for... Oh, Ducker. Big whoosh there is... Oh. Sorry, that was Chamberlain that walked past. It was Montgomery is the geezer, isn't he?
Yeah, as expected. Rolf. Buff Guy's gone for Rolf now. It's going to take him out. Same deal as Ducker. He's going to let the two guys walk off.
Yeah,
Once
no
again, I think
rip
I'm more
there.
confident in his path, and he's left a lot less about. Of course,
Yeah.
Ducker showing us that they're not a threat.
No. No, they haven't ripped Ducker yet, and you'd have had expected that to happen already if that was the case. Okay, Ducker boxing the dealer. Getting changed back into Rolf. Didn't want that. Wanted the dealer. Had to get changed again.
Also has a breaching charge set up for fucking
Oh,
hell.
wow, whoa, that's some launch.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
My bum would have been twitching. Ah, wow, he got some air, man.
He was like 15, 20 feet in the air. If he'd gone over the edge and landed in the middle of the party, that would have been heartbreaking.
That would have been it. That would have been the most. You know, yeet is exactly the word regular lots. But yeah, I mean, did he put a coin underneath him or something? That was insane. Did the earpiece he dropped act like a coin?
Possibly.
Way, yeah, could have done. That'd be good to know. Okay, so buff with red guns there because green has seen one of his mates knocked out. Either way, buff has got himself another agent ISO'd.
Is he going for the Bannerlore now? Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
I see.
It does give him another target he can get, and it also brings up a disguise that he needs.
Okay, buff guy's in the lead now. 100%.
Look at all those.
It's still really close, but I'm giving it to buff at this point.
Sure. Look at all those red horizontal silhouettes for Ducker as well.
Ducker is doing his last big job now, which is going and fetching the axe, and
So
I think
far
both of them have a trip down to the basement to go and fetch the disguise. It will be Florida for buff, I think,
Yep.
and for both of them actually, yeah. And buff guy has everything else right here to get everything else out of the way, I think.
Now there is a spot on here. You can spot on this roof. You can make the kill silent, even though it's an explosion. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's interesting. Will we see that put to good use?
Looks like he's trying to hide everybody else.
His
So I don't
banners on
think he
those
plans
stairs.
on it. He's just launched him straight down the edge as well. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now if he gets changed back into Rolf, that will be silence pistol for Rolf, putting buff guy on 4 out of 5 kills. Needing only the old axe as Florida Man. Florida Man is
There it is.
isolated. The old axe is next to the target.
Yeah, of course, we saw Swan knocked out earlier on. He just needs to find Florida Man.
Let's not take our eye off Ducker.
No,
He has
you
the
can never
old
forget about
axe
him.
in his hand, is approaching his last 2 isolated targets. He is missing an explosion accident, which I think he set up, maybe? I'm not sure, actually, about
Yes,
that.
I think he put a detonator next to it. I think that's actually by Swan.
Either way, I
leaving
think
a flask there.
Buffer's got so much done early game that he's now on the finishing straight. As Ducker's still got a few of these sort of menial tasks to do. They're just taking up a bit too much time here. Buff
Just gotta
fast
find
approaching
Florida
his
Man, hasn't he?
disguise. Wait, did Buff not have the disguise yet?
I don't.
Oh
moved
no,
on
he
the
didn't. He
rope.
skipped it. He raised and
Yeah.
skipped it, didn't he? This changes everything.
Yeah, and he doesn't. He's
Wow,
not in the
wow,
dealer
wow, wow.
disguise.
So
He-
Florida Man
he's-
could be anywhere, and Ducker has his Florida up. Wow, shit.
Yeah.
Talk about turning it on its head. Wait, where are you going with that axe, man? Jesus.
Ducker, dude. Wow, that's big brass testes there. Gets his kill. Banner
Why?
is dead.
He literally just ran past Swan with the axe just to come and get.
Agent Banner, report.
I think he just wants to blow that propane up and get straight on the bike, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to be doing.
Fourth man down. My God, this is an embarrassment. How do you expect to look each
No,
other
he's
in
gonna
the
bring
eyes
him.
after
He's
this?
gonna bring him round. Look,
Okay.
this is unnecessarily complicated, and
Yeah.
he's so lucky that Buff didn't have that disguise in that box. Let's face it.
And Buff is still trying to find Florida Man. And there he is. He's found him. Just needs
Unfortunately,
to
it's too little, too late, isn't it?
I think so. And there
Ducker
goes
gets-
Ducker's final kill.
And their exit.
GG's Ducker. Oh,
Wow.
I think I can safely say the turning point there was Buff not being able to find Florida Man while he was still in the dealer's disguise. Everything else was kind of already set up, wasn't it?
Not gonna lie, I said I wanted a race. That was exactly what I wanted to see.
That was tight, man. That was so
Regardless of the result, that was a fantastic watch. I could not tell who was in the lead. That was insane.
Two totally different strats. The way they were going about it, the way they ordered their setup, what they were going to go do. Yeah, but finally getting the Florida Man disguise so we can run up, kill Swan, go. But it's going to be
Just
too
out
late.
of photo finish again.
Yeah, we just missed out on the photo finish in Santa Fortuna.
There it goes. Points are awarded to Ducker with Buff Guy less than a minute away, I'd say, from exiting the map himself.
Yeah.
Just stalled for too long, and you can. I don't even need to lip read to know what he just said. Holy
Oh, he's left the screen.
Dude, yeah, that's Berlin. That's his map. That's a tough one to take.
Yeah.
This is going to be an uphill struggle for Buff Guy now.
Well, we are in Bangkok next. It's a good map, very good map. But yeah, Berlin. Wow. Well, you got your wish, 420. You wanted a race, as you said. Bangkok again, though. Buff is no slouch on Bangkok, and it's still all to play for. We still Ducker's still got 2 maps he's got to win to take this final. Buff obviously needs 3 more, and action-packed. Bruce, stop whining. I know it's the final, but you got to behave. Bruce trying to get in on the action here, which is to be expected. But yeah, what a Berlin. Anything else you want to say about Berlin there, 420?
Honestly, I'm kind of speechless. That was amazing watch. Really was. So unlucky to Buff Guy that he just dwindled a little bit looking for Florida Man. And arguably, had he made that decision earlier to scrap it and move on, would have been so much closer. He would have got the photo finish at the very least. But apart from that, it was such good play from both players. Really was.
It really was.
I don't think either of them ripped. They both went about their business. I mean, Buff very unconventional, starting the radio tower, going up the left side and round the back. Still managed to make it work and pull something out the bag, but unfortunately, it just wasn't quite enough to beat Ducker. And
yeah, Florida Man RNG all the way there. I'm going to say, but still, Buff Guy with 2 points, Ducker with 4 points. We are now off to Bangkok, and again, we keep saying this, but look at that lifetime performance: 14 visits, 12 wins for Ducker. 4 visits and 2 wins for the Buff Guy. And they have played each other on Bangkok by the looks of it, just the once. Ducker coming away victorious that time. But what do you want to see in Bangkok then, mate?
I don't know, maybe the Sapper's Axe.
That always brings a bit of fun, because you've got to be dressed basically as a copper to get down there, and there's so many enforcers for the copper, isn't there, in the basement? No, the one I haven't seen yet either is is there a head of security in Bangkok? The dude with the flat cap, isn't it?
I don't think he's a special disguise.
No.
In that sense.
No, that'd be why I've never seen it.
What else you got? You got Katana up in Jordan's bedroom, haven't you?
Yeah, I haven't seen a Katana spin for a
I'll
good
tell you what would be interesting to see, just for the timing right now, be Consume Poison.
Oh yeah, because
obviously there's been some developments with Consume Poison that have made it a lot faster and a lot more versatile, a lot more options to it, and I'm sure both of these guys have been paying attention to that. So if we got a Consume Poison spin, that would be pretty fantastic. Yeah,
they're both very very active in the Discords, aren't they? And they'll certainly be aware of the developments and strats when it comes to Consume Poison for Jordan. Just trying to think what else I'd like to see. Haven't seen any Stalker ones lately. Stalker, of course, there are limitations on what spin can be.
I actually didn't mention Stalker as what I want to see. For that reason, it's simply just run up to the attic, hit him in the head, put his clothes on, detonate, take his clothes off.
Yeah, the rest of it is...
It's not one of the most exciting parts of Bangkok, unfortunately.
No. I do like to see a good Bugman. I do like to see a well-executed Bugman strat. Those can always be fun.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice to see.
Yeah, I haven't seen one I haven't seen one yet this tourney, I don't think. But a well-executed Bugman is worth the price of admission, I would say. Ducker showing off his infiltration, exfiltration skills there. Very nice.
Nice timing on that chick getting into the security office.
He's certainly practiced this a few times.
Nice. That's looking pretty solid.
Yeah. Grabbing himself a few Dr. Pops. Personally, I'm a Fountain View man. Dr. Pop is full of aspartame. I personally go with Fountain View, and I'm not sponsored by them. So we got 1 minute and 20 odd seconds until the spin gets here. Of course, our two targets: Ken the Brick Morgan, Jordan the Man Baby. Cross, son of Thomas Cross, is the media mogul. Don't you know?
Someone told me once. I weren't listening though.
Some lady you wish you could just turn down on occasion.
Some chick that's supposed to be an earpiece but sounds like she's actually living inside my head.
Rent free as well. Oh, we've had an extension on the spin for some reason. I don't know what that's for.
All eyes on Discord, I suppose.
Let's see what's going on there. Spin delayed for a bit of a longer break. Spin at 1 minute past. We got, well, as you can see on the screen.
Buff has asked for 5 minutes, which is just unsurprising.
Yeah, just to decompress. I've just got to let Bruce out a second. He needs a quick break as well. Just give me 1 second, mate.
No worries. I think we all do, actually. After that was a pretty intense Bangkok. Like I say, it was amazingly close from both players. I could barely keep up and decide who was in front at what point. Absolutely insane. And Buff Guy just showed a little frustration there that I don't know whether he actually ran into issues with Florida Man going for a walk there. That's something that is a possibility. Is that Florida Man actually went all the way up to the roof to green and came back down again, or some crap like that. And that's why he wasn't there where Buff Guy expected, and he only found him later on. Something that we'll probably chat more about after the tourney's over. Buff will want to figure that one out, no doubt.
What's that, mate?
I was just saying about the possibility that Florida Man wasn't where Buff expected him to be because he was up on the roof with green or some other stupid place that he shouldn't be.
Yeah, of course, because Buff didn't go in via the roof, there was no rip.
Green and that wasn't isolated. It's perfectly viable that he went up and wandering and came back to the dance floor again by the 12-13 minutes when he found him.
Yeah, you can see Florida Man levitating between floors on occasion. It's it's an unfortunate Hitman fact, but it does happen.
Well, I'm glad to say that we haven't all been there, but it's been witnessed multiple times. I myself
Yes.
fell victim to it. I think I was one of the first, and it was just absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, well, we certainly don't wish it upon any player for that same reason. Once you felt that pain. Of course, we had one match, a wall hack in the basement in Colorado, a loud weapon on Ezra Berg, the final kill.
Fanium,
One of our
wasn't
players.
it?
That was Fanium, that was it, yeah.
That was a rough one.
Oh, heartbreaking. 'Cause again, final kill. Storm cellar was open. What you have to do is bang and go. But one of the hackers upstairs in completely the well, I was just about to say the wrong spot, but exactly the correct spot to see the kill. Right, we're much closer to the spin now. In another 55 seconds. Buff is venting his spleen. He's definitely having a good old spleen vent there. Needs to put that behind him. Get his head straight. Get on over to Bangkok. Do the do. And tie this thing up with Ducker.
That is it. The thing is with these finals is they are long matches, so incidents like this can happen. Sure, they are pretty devastating in the moment. Not going to take anything away from our boss feeling right now about it. It's pretty devastating, but the opportunity is there to recover. He's only one map down, and his opponent's got to win another 2.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, had this been an earlier round match, I mean, it's already over because, well, rounds 1 and 2 is the first of 4, but the spin is here. 420, break it down.
We have Jordan Cross, Silence Pistol as a waiter. Ken Morgan, Fire Axe as the groundkeeper. That's a quick one.
Okay. Of course, you can start as groundskeeper. You can start as a waiter.
Waiter all day.
We can see Ducker has already hit play. I mean, look at that. Less than 20 seconds and he has hit play. So we're looking to see him go in any second now. Buff's still planning. Oh, he started as the kitchen assistant.
Yes, I am well aware that the cake topper is missing.
And a cake topper lore is this? To bring Jordan
Yeah,
down.
he's going to bring Jordan down. Get the Ken lore going on. This is Docker's sort of meta, if you like. I've seen him run this a couple of times this tourney now.
Well, we certainly saw him do something similar in his pre-match warm-up, didn't we?
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, looking at the weapons he needs, Silence Pistol was probably already in his inventory. And so is the EMPs. He's going to be taking out the cameras again, I should have thought. And he's put the cake topper in. Buff guy, meanwhile, starting as the waiter.
He will most likely be looking to head straight up and see if he can get the cheeky peekaboo on Jordan Cross. Get him out of the windowsill. Get a nice, fast, Silence Pistol kill.
Sure. Ducker grabbing himself the letter Neil. And some coins. Having to bend down to avoid a lot of sus there from one of Jordan's bodyguards.
I think the deciding factor for this map, pending no rips, is going to be that letter.
Yeah.
Ducker, of course, has 25 seconds approximately in game time lead, which puts his Ken that much further ahead.
Sure.
And I think that's going to be critical here.
Again, that lovely timing, getting in behind the female hotel staff as she walks into the security room. Ducker now has defeated Bangkok final boss, cameraman.
Buff guy just got the peekaboo on Jordan. Beautiful textbook stuff. I think first time we saw that was back in Roulette 2 from David Strong, I think. Possibly even 1, I'm not sure.
It's the first kill. Jordan Cross is dead and Buff leaning. He can't help but Buff stop, can he?
No buses there, mate.
No. He does love to blend in.
So, of course, we are 1 kill in for Buff Guy, but he's looking at either a wildly different approach for Ken or a very late letter law. I'm going to hazard a guess that he's not going for the letter with the way he's playing this. He's maybe going to get Ken out in the corner or a seeker.
Well, of course, by grabbing the bodyguard, he can carry the fire axe himself. And there is one just over here by the top of the stairs. Bit of sus there from that random roadie at the top of the stairs, but Buff, fire axe in hand, just needs a groundskeeper and, well, the target isolated. Ducker,
on the other hand, has his gardener disguise and has Ken isolated. Well, I say has, he's right now knocking him out. Yeah. Of course, he has fire axe access, not too far away, which gives him everything he needs to get his first kill, the opposite first kill to Buff Guy once again.
Love to see it. Look at that, with all the people he's isolated. Now, he does have a bit of a problem here if the Bugman or the other hotel staff member, if he started their conversation, they will make their way into that room. Those 3 bodies lying about. That would be Rip City, which obviously he doesn't want.
However, very important to note, Jordan is self-isolating as every moment goes on for Ducker. And Buff Guy, I'm not sure if he's clearing out this bathroom because he plans to use it for Ken. But that's a long way off happening in relative terms.
He's getting himself a housekeeper disguise now. He didn't get the second part of the audio. Oh, okay. Buff decided not to wait.
He's annoyed from that last one, isn't he? I think that
He
decision
really is,
there
yeah.
kind of reflects what happened in Berlin.
Oh, we got a rip from Ducker.
And I missed it. I'm not gonna lie.
I was looking at Buff starting to rage out there. Jordan didn't come.
Jordan didn't come.
Apparently not.
That's not restart worthy though. He was a kill in.
Whoa.
But
He did the cake
damn.
and Jordan wasn't there. But yeah, it should have still been manageable. Why wouldn't Jordan have gone then? Or had Jordan been gone? I don't think he. I think he.
I
was
don't think he'd been and gone. No, he
No.
had plenty of time. What an interesting turn of events that is. So that'll be a bit of relief for Buff in hindsight. He's not the only one getting screwed by the game's AI.
Yeah. Surely getting the letter, with this trank shot didn't screw that up. He must have done it a few times.
Possibly actually, but I think if it did, it was probably like you say, it's something he's practiced, and he just hit a really rare chance that it would interact.
Okay. Meanwhile, though, Buff, look at this. Has Ken going into that bathroom?
I don't believe I've seen Buff get the gardener yet. He's got a whole host of disguises, just not the gardener. However,
Ken is ISO'd. He's probably going to leave a few weapons outside that door. Did he take care of Mr. Greyshirt?
yes.
Mr. Greyshirt is not an issue.
It's just the chef. Has he got? They might even have the chef in there as well.
Yeah.
He's got the hotel staff. He's got the waiter. He's got the grey shirt, Ken, and
Ken's
Otis.
bodyguard.
So no, I don't think the chef's in there. Of course, you've got whatever her name is, Jackie, as well.
Oh,
She
he's got
doesn't
bullet-
actually go in the stall.
No, he's got a bullet impact notice. Should still get away with this though.
That's
Yeah, he's not going all the way down.
questionable.
He's got a snail.
Very quick. Oh yeah,
He's got a snail. So, he's going with the karma. Okay, fair enough. Well, that should be nice and safe for Buff there, even if that body is found.
too much stuff, isn't he? He's going to take the snail with him for next time. Get a refund.
Yeah. He'd be the first person to get a 7DS refund from IO.
There we go. There is the second kill for Buff Guy.
Nicely done.
On the home straight to pull it back to 4-4 in this
We've got a match,
console
boys and
grand
girls.
finals. We've had a match all day, and it's
I
just
know.
not failing to surprise us. How? I'm not going to ask how we're here. We know exactly how we're here. We've got two of the best console players going at it, and they are neck and neck. Buff Guy looking to close it out right now, bring it back
There he
4-all.
goes. GG's to Buffster there. Absolutely. There were no rips. Everything went according to plan. Ducker had that dubious restart. We were all a bit uncertain as to why. Well, if Jordan didn't come down, that was an odd one. Very, very odd, but Ducker decided he wasn't going to go chasing him. Buff's going to go absolutely crazy now. Waiting for him. There it is. Confirmation. Stoic is he's not even celebrating. No, he's got his game face on.
He's just mad about Berlin.
He's still mad about Berlin. He'll be mad about Berlin tomorrow as well. He won't let that get away. Well, what a cracking Bangkok that was. Sterling stuff by Buff there. And we are off to Haven, and I should imagine we'll be rejoined by our good friends, Throat and Meme Junkie. Lads, are you there?
Hello,
Yep.
guys.
Good stuff. Right then, boys, we'll leave you to Haven. I
Yes.
don't want to say this without using the kappa emoji, but good luck. We'll see you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Yes, thanks, guys. So, what a match so far, I mean. 4-4, all even. Both players got a bit screwed there at Berlin and Bangkok, so that evens out.
I was watching Buff's, I will say, meltdown in general chat, and now Ducker got one back, so no complaining from both players, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a match here.
But like his restart was so fast. He seems to know what happened, but like I was watching him at the moment. He hit instinct, saw Jordan, pause, restart. There was no like looking around. So I'll have to find out from him later what the deal was.
Yeah, it looked like he was still on the top floor.
Alright, so what's next? Haven, Buff's pick. Interesting, because I know this is one of Ducker's favourite maps.
Yeah,
Ducker rocking the 86.4% on it.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I was just looking at the admin stuff. Everything is fine. Predictions. Well, lead for Buff Guy here. At the moment, anyway. We've had some great maps so far. And I want the Haven, which I always find very enjoyable to watch as well. It's always cool.
Yep, definitely interested to see. I don't think I've seen Buff play Haven off the top of my head, even though he certainly says he loves it. So I hope I see something cool.
Yeah, I do know that he practices the map a lot. He is a big fan.
So when's the next spin coming? I mean, it doesn't seem to have updated.
In 5 minutes, in 17 past the hour.
Alright.
Yeah, there we go. Everything is set up. So, as you guys can see, Buff Guy, lifetime performance, has played the Haven 4 times in tournament setting. 3 wins, 1 loss. That's pretty good, actually. At the other side, Ducker, 13 times. Has played it 13 times, won 10 times, lost 2, and a draw. The draw could be from very early on, actually. Not entirely sure.
I mean, because draws were only recorded recently. Like, I know on my stats it says I have no draws. Yeah, I know I've drawn in the past. I mean, I used to have the longest map record. So it would have been probably from RR4 onwards, I believe.
I think RR3, judging by the records that are still standing.
That is Ludmila Vetrova.
But yeah, as expected, because Ducker has been there
Actually,
since
wait a
the
minute.
start.
No, I know exactly what one that was. That was... Oh no, or did he... That was... You remember the spin of him with I Like Hitman with Steven Electro? And they both gave up in chat.
Yeah, you could be right, yeah. I think I remember.
Yeah, that was definitely the draw. Don't do that in match, Ducker.
It is interesting that both players so far on each map have a different preparation method while waiting. Ducker is just fucking around and playing around in a map, whereas Buff Guy is just meditating at the loadout screen. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, personally, I prefer Buff's thing. I just sit on the loadout and just go to like the mission brief and just try to not shake too much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for console players, one initial preload makes sense, right? And then having to wait. I'm not sure if Buff did that.
Right, so I'll be interested to see if we get any explosive accident on Steven. I've seen multiple times of what Duck is doing right now. Explosive, I'm pretty sure that was a Duck though. Explosive accidents through the wall and taking out the guard behind. pretty sure that messed up Ducker in a match I was casting earlier on.
Yeah. I mean, it does save you the trouble of transporting a propane tank, and there aren't that many. There's one at the bar,
I just wonder,
and the rest are at the villa. So
I just wonder if, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's doing that same concussive duck you showed. Can that guard behind it ever be knocked down by it? When he patrols outside,
yeah.
it turns the tap on when you blow it up. Was there betting marker? I didn't see it.
There was, but
I missed it.
It's already over. As in, you can't bet anymore. Prediction is.
How did the split go? I missed it.
Yeah, I set it to 5 minutes, and then the match was like 8 minutes. Or like the spin arrival lasted 8 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, can you see how the split went? Because I can't find it on the stream. I would imagine it'd be pretty even. It's always been even so far.
It's 57% in favor of buff guy. 50k versus 38k.
Interesting. I'm seeing a snail. I can't recall seeing anyone use a snail from Villa start.
Buff guy prefers to use the snail for the projector room isolation, the theater room. I always see him use the snail to like get Tyson and the bodyguard. But yeah, will you take the spin, Meme? It's arriving right now. Let's go, map 5.
Alright, we have Tyson, Jarl's Pirate Saber, lol, bodyguard. Stephen, Barbarez at Masseur. Ludmilla, SMG as Dr. Singh.
Alright, so the Pirate Saber. I mean, the rest of the spin, it does allow to smuggle it in. But I wonder if the players will opt for that. Or if they're gonna retrieve it from the private island.
Yeah, this definitely is spin. You can get Ludmilla down in like probably 45 seconds maybe. So yeah, a lot of people love to default to Villa start, but God, I'd start Pier here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could argue for both. Like starting at the Villa, you get the Tyson isolation and the bodyguard. Especially if you smuggle in the Pirate Saber where Buff looks like he's doing. You can get the Tyson kill straight away and you don't have to go back to the Villa at all.
Yeah, pretty sure Duck is going for your little concussive duck thing. He's going to miss convenient timing on Dr. Singh though, which is a little bit slower.
Oh, and there's a quick restart from Ducker. He missed the Seeker shot there. So yeah, and Buff finally loaded in, so all even here.
Yes, this is what worries me about Villa. Oh, he's going to get a silence pistol because you're going to want Seeker. You're going to want a pistol to get the Doctor. If he's smuggling in Jarl's Pirate Saber, it's going to be a bit tight on items.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense though, his approach. Like, both have its merit. Yeah, we are gonna see some snail action here from the buff guy. There we go. So now Ducker didn't miss a shot and is gonna make his way over to Ludmilla. Another secret shot, I imagine.
I've never seen that snail work before, so yeah.
Yeah, Buff always uses that one. But yeah, that's the first kill down in a minute already for Buff. Like I was saying, there's definitely merit to his starting location, his approach. Picks up the Barbarazer. So now he can just leave the villa and just never come back here anymore.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the fact Barbarazer is right there, I would say Villa start is optimal. A little bit of backtracking saved.
Yeah, and he picks up his silence pistol here, so that's taken care of as well.
Now Ducker's probably going to pop their concussive duck very soon.
I would imagine so. He does have Ludmilla isolated here in the bathroom now. Has his smuggle right here. With the saber inside. So both players, as expected, are opting to just smuggling it in instead of having to bother going to the private island.
Pidgeotto noting that Buff has picked up a assault rifle.
Yep.
Ooh, where are the SMGs on the map? The bodyguard has the SMG.
Yeah, and in
but he's picked up the Villa Guard.
And in his secret room there's an SMG as well, like the secret weapon room that you open with the book. Oh, that would be very costly though. Ripping because of the wrong disguise with the wrong weapon, those are just the worst really. I can speak from experience.
Yeah, I casted that one.
Had a few times. But yeah, Doctor. I guess both work here. Approaching the first kill on Ludmilla. As Dr. Singh. Silenced SMG. It's not even gonna box him.
Good work, 47. Ludmilla.
And he missed the timing, I think, of the concussion duck, and he noticed it straight away, and it's a restart from Docker.
Yep, I saw that coming. Like, it's like, why did he had a chance earlier and just? Oh my god, what's happening for Buff?
Did you just see Steven?
Yeah.
What is my guy doing? Oh, and he got spotted. What is the game doing at the moment? Holy shit. That's triggering.
Did he make Steven sick? I figure he must have made Steven sick.
Yeah, he did, but then he just did some weird traversal. As you can see, he just dropped down from the stairs at first. Buff trying to save it, but yeah, both players ripping a couple of times already.
Julian, Buff ripped on Mumbai once, but since then, and then Ducker ripped on Bangkok once.
Yeah, and a couple of rips here now. I mean, the stakes are getting higher and higher with each map, of course, as well. Pressure is rising, 4-4. This would be a crucial map to take, because the winner of this map will be on match point.
But now with similar IGT, be able to see which route is faster. I did initially think Ducker was, but then I changed my mind to Buff, so get the answer to that soon.
Yeah, I think because of what you mentioned, Meme, that you also have a Barber Razor in the spin. I think that Villa start is more optimal here. Because Ducker is going to be forced to go back and forth, you know. He can get Stephen Bradley kills straight away. It's going to add some minutes.
My concern was always if you try to get Doctor like too late in the spin. But I'm pretty sure Buff will be getting him before he leaves his heart.
The good thing now though is that he picked up the SMG this time from the guard.
Oh yeah.
So in hindsight it might have saved him a lot of time. Like imagine he didn't rip and then used the wrong the assault rifle on Ludmilla. So that rip might have actually saved him a lot of time. Alright, Buff taking care.
Alright, so is Ducker remembering to pop the... Did he remember to pop the duck?
No, still has the detonator, but just as we're talking. Yep, and he gets them both, still green. He didn't forget it this time, so he's all set up. And approaching his first kill. I'm trying to anyway. There we go. Nice guns.
Good work, 47. Ludmilla Vetrova has been permanently retired.
Alright, let's see if this time Steven will behave after the Seeker shot. This seems awfully close, right? That guard's gonna hear that. Yeah, he's repositioning buff. That makes sense. He's still not entirely sure about this angle here. He's just gonna go for the normal one. Meanwhile,
Yep, so
Dr. Villa.
Yeah. Dr. Lure. But he has to do a backtrack. You really thought... Like, Ducker picked up the barber razor from Ludmilla's hut. He really could have gone back and got Steven. So he's going to backtrack now. I think he's going to realise that soon.
Yeah. I still think Buff is kinda ahead, even though in-game time he's 30 seconds behind. I don't think it's more optimal here.
Yeah, I'm now wondering if Ducker not getting Steven is going to cost him. He's going to lose at least 30 seconds each way. And he doesn't have that much of a lead.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so Buff got Steven isolated. He's gonna work on Ludmilla now. Now he does have a loud SMG here.
This would bring up something I mentioned a while back here. If you make Ludmilla sick and you shoot her with a loud weapon through the door, they won't find her. They'll look everywhere else except where you look where you shot from, but they won't look inside. I don't think he's going to do that though, but if he did, it would be cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Ducker with the Dr. Singh isolation placed a banana for his guard. He's gonna slip, and we have a KO. Change the skies, and that's the second kill for Ducker, 5 minutes in. Buff guy doing a little more setup first before getting the kills. So yeah, in kills, Ducker's leading.
Did Buff miss the Seeker?
Oh,
that's a problem.
Yep, and that's a restart. Oh, gigantic lead now by Ducker.
Well, you look at the IGT. Had he got Steven first, Ducker could have probably been out in like 6:30.
You still needed the Masur disguise as well, but yeah, missing a Seeker shot on Haven is just crucial. One of the reasons why I also always bring a Matic Mine as well. Just as a backup.
So Ducker choosing not to banana, even though he walked past one.
Yeah, but Ludmilla's down, so no one goes in there. And Ducker is not too far away, actually. It's actually much quicker than I anticipated what Ducker is doing. Looking at what, 7 minutes in game time? That's good for this spin.
That's Stephen Bradley taken care of. Well done. That's all we need to do from here.
And that's the third kill.
Miss Hall should be able to extract the information needed.
Ducker taking the lead here.
Good work, 47.
Yep, so this was, well, it's not over yet, but yeah, this was Buff's pick, so on to Ducker's choice for match point, I mean.
Yeah, 6-4. Any moment now. And then we're off to Isle of Scale, which is Ducker's pick. So match point for Ducker. And his map choice coming up.
And that is ominous, because Isle of Scale is one of Ducker's over 90% win rate maps. And just one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a crucial map win. I just paid out the predictions. Let me start the new one. Alright, predictions are up. But yeah, what a match so far. It's everything I hoped for. 6-4 after 5 maps. That's what you want to see in a grand final, right?
Yep, all the big ones, or the typical big 3 down. Now onto what could be a very quick one.
Yeah. And if Buff Guy does manage to equalize the score here, we will have Sapienza as the decider map actually.
I was just keeping my eye on the Discord, see if Buff had any comments about Steven. I gotta say, I've never seen that myself.
It does tend to happen sometimes if you medic targets. Great example of that is Jorge in Santa Fortuna, who will just fuck off into the wilderness.
That's what I thought Steven was doing. It looked like he was just wandering into the ocean.
Yeah, he was going to. You could tell by how he was routing, right? How he was spatting, just in a straight line, and everything on his path he would just go over it.
Wow, 0 matches played on scale for Buff. Surprising.
Yeah. And on the other end, 13 for Docker. 10 wins, 3 losses.
The map record on this map still intrigues me, because it could get so low, but we just haven't really seen world record spins come up in like late matches where players are capable of nailing it first shot. I do believe like sub 230 is doable in the future.
Yeah, definitely. With like really optimal spins.
So Duckers, I wonder if he's still a fan of the flash phone around this corner. Looks like he is. Yeah, he hasn't changed his mind. He's been doing this for a few RRs.
I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because I used to do this, and then, you know, you just find a way to match it with a Sophia isolation at the same time. For the whole gold brick around the corner.
Yeah.
As in, like, the actual gold bar, I've got to specify those two. So what is Ducker doing with this shovel?
He's, looks like he's luring someone.
I'm pretty sure I know what that is. That was assuming Zoe. I was assuming Zoe was there. He's pretending he's throwing it at her. That's what that was. Because yeah, I've definitely seen him do this a few times. That timing is really finicky though.
If you look at the predictions, meme, it's actually really even. 22k versus 24k.
Yeah, very surprised by that.
Yeah, it's
but then again, it's consistent.
Yeah. It's been that way for every map so far, like pretty much 50-50.
Alright, so something I don't see much of. I don't think I've seen Knight Armor yet. I don't get to watch every match, but I haven't seen it personally.
No, I don't think so either. Alright, 30 seconds away.
So, interesting Ducker chooses to blow up the radio after shooting it. I mean, I get why you do it, but it doesn't seem needed. Never seen anyone else do that.
Yeah, I mean, players always have this very specific stuff that only they do, right? Just because they learned it that way and are comfortable with it. But yeah, 5 seconds away. Map 6, match point for Ducker. Let's see what we have. We have Zoe Washington, injected poison as a guard. And Sophia Washington, loud SMG as Blake Nathaniel. So live for Zoe.
Ducker's gonna go for it. The phone one. I certainly imagine he's gonna do it. if he doesn't, he doesn't look like he's planning for it. But God, that's such a setup
Yeah, I mean,
for the phone law.
because you got the guard outfit right outside that ceremony, right? That he was luring already.
I mean, I get it's a little loadout heavy by doing that, and you do limit yourself. And Ducker loves his lockpick. He always needs a space for lockpick.
Yeah. And you do have to bring in a loud SMG, because all the SMGs from the guards are silenced.
I believe the Raiders have non-silence, though.
Aren't those assault rifles?
I don't know. I always thought the Raider, especially in the security room, has one.
Yeah, you could be right though. Just always assumed that those were assault rifles. Right. Quick little replan from Ducker here. Both thinking about this.
Micro audio. Is he going to do the Blake law upstairs into the toilet through the wall?
I would imagine so. I mean, and I do know that both players are aware of this as well.
Oh yeah, you see, Buff's got it too. This is a long loadout for both players.
Yep. I mean, it is quite loadout heavy, right? So it makes sense. All right, both players.
Of course, it's the fact that Blake's allowed up here makes it certainly pretty optimal.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see the same thing here. Although Buff Guy is opting to start at the art gallery. That is an interesting choice.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I would have done. I'd have just like got just instantly just get Zoe. I don't care. But the fact that Ducker's going to marry this with getting Blake, definitely smart.
Oh, and he missed. No, he did hit her. For a second, it looked like he just shot right behind her, but he did hit the seeker shot.
Oh, why is this happening to me today of all days?
So yeah, Buff prioritizing the Zoe Washington kill. He's gonna get the guard in here as well. Could be a little tricky.
He's got no dumps left.
Okay.
He definitely should not have brought the guard in.
But he doesn't need to, right? Like, there's a box there, he can box too, and Zoe is injected poison.
No, it's Sophia.
No,
I don't know
Zoe
what
is
he's going to
injected
do.
Poison. Oh, I'm talking about Buff Guy, sorry.
Oh, so yeah, about Ducker.
Yeah.
There's no way that's soundproof. No way.
I don't think. Maybe he knows of a corner. There are some finicky spots that. Let's make it. Nope. Gunshot hurt. And he's not even gonna wait.
Yeah, he needs a new idea because I mean, all he has to do is just put a gun down and her guard will walk off, which is what I expect him to actually do.
Yep. Well, yeah, Buff Guy with the lead here, 2 minutes in almost. Got the Zoe kill taken care of already. Has a loud SMG on his back. Will be in time for the radio lore, so this is perfect timing actually from Buff Guy.
Yeah, very nice. And this is a good room to get a loud dump.
Yeah, and he has the audio device to get Blake up in a little bit. Yeah, this is looking really good so far. Now the guard is trespassing up there, so I imagine he's gonna go for the architect.
He just peek with this dude.
Yep. Ooh, that was a huge whoosh there. So I'm sure Docker is not gonna bring in the guard a second time.
God, that was spooky. I would never ever drag that guy like that. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, Buff's probably a minute and a bit. Of course, I don't know where Blake is now. He's not going to be able to audio lure him from the spot he did before. It's a possibility Ducker could catch up if he doesn't catch Blake in a good spot.
True. It's still a huge lead though.
Unless he is there, which Buff seems to believe he is.
Oh, and he gets this guard. He's not checking instinct either, so he's... Oh, and he got ripped because that guy was an enforcer when coming in the bathroom. Oh, that's so unlucky for Buff there. For Buff.
I don't even know if Blake was down there. If Blake was down there, then
it didn't
cool,
look
but...
like it. It didn't look like it. He was making his little round. I'm expecting he was just like at the art gallery or just passing that bathroom.
Yeah, I was reasonably sure he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Tucker's not getting away for free himself.
He didn't even check either. He just assumed he's always there. Yeah, big lead for Ducker now. Got the Blake Nathaniel disguise. And he's gonna go for the radio lure right now.
Yeah, see, with what Ducker's doing, Alonso, it's possible when you dump that raider can turn around and see you dump her.
Yep.
But if that doesn't happen, then no, you're safe.
Meanwhile, buff guy approaching his Zoe kill again.
Ducker knows he's looking at him.
I would say that buff has the better strat though, at first glance.
Oh, and Ducker got a single shot. How fortunate.
No, it wasn't fortunate. He emptied his clip deliberately.
Oh, that was what he's doing.
Yeah, they only have one shot left. No, but like timing wise, I'm preferring buff guy's strat here, really. It seems to flow together better.
Yep. So I thought Ducker had his elite guard, I mean his normal guard there.
Yeah, apparently.
So now he's got to catch Zoe somewhere.
Yeah,
preferably not at the wake.
Master of Ceremony room, right? And there's a guard inside there as well. So Ducker should be done within 2 minutes, but buff guy is gonna run into the same problem where Blake Nathaniel is not gonna be in that spot. Oh, and Ducker did miss one of his shots.
Yeah, there are easier guards disguises to get in this one. I'll get the one in the bathroom.
I mean,
Zoe likes to go in.
He's gonna use the Master of Ceremony lure anyway, so makes sense to go for this guard.
I thought he's got to get around the wake. I don't know if he still kept his phone.
Alright, buff with the peekaboo for the architect. Again, I feel like he's gonna run into the same problem here though. And Ducker is about a minute away here. Unless he gets a GRB, which can happen.
Yep, Zoe can decide to sprint. So now we're going to find out from Ducker. Blake doesn't look like he's there at all.
Oh, and this is a bit of annoying
yeah, he's not there.
Here. Nice bumping there from Ducker. Oh, but that's gonna panic. No, he does get it. Don't change too quick. And a replan for buff, and this is this looks like a GG. No enforcers. constant, not panicked.
Yeah, there's that one Mega Enforcer patrolling, but that's not going to matter. It's finished. Ducker doesn't drop these.
Wow, 8-4. Buff guy was so close to equalizing this, really. Every map has been close pretty much. Like, great performance from both, really. And I played out the
GG
conditions.
Ducker getting his revenge after Buff knocked him out originally.
And getting his 6th title as well. I'm gonna ask him if he's up for an interview. Still, big GG to Buff guy as well, though. Like, he played amazingly. The game was trolling him a little bit today. But 8-4 to Ducker is still very, very impressive. Very well done from both players.
Yep, it's cool. I'm just trying to keep on Discord at the same time, see people's reactions.
GG's Ducker, really well played. Obviously, Buff guy, some unfortunate hitman action, shall we say?
Yeah, it wasn't going his way, but still an amazing performance, though, from both. Ducker just informed me that he will join us in 2 minutes for a little post-match interview. But yeah, that's the 6th title already for Ducker. Picking up where he left off.
That's pretty damn impressive, I would say.
Yeah, unbelievable. Big GGs, and what a great final. 6 maps. 4-4 after 4 maps, and then just Haven was really unlucky. And for scale, it really could have gone either way, these last 2 maps, to be honest.
Yeah, 420. You had some thoughts on why Blake wasn't where Buff wanted him to be. What was that, mate?
But I believe he was triggering him from proxy at the start. He even addressed it himself, didn't he? On his second reset, he was looking at him. He didn't throw his fire extinguisher or whatever.
Yes.
I think he doesn't walk right away, but I think just starting there is enough to trigger him, if I'm not mistaken. Who knows? I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I've never done it myself, but that sounds plausible.
No, as shoutcasters, we're never wrong. That's fine. We're allowed to say what we like in that respect, and always be right, because we have the conch. But yeah, Ducker. We had a number of maps there, 0 rips. There were a couple of maps with some rips, obviously, but a couple of maps there, 0 rips that were really, really tight. Berlin being one of them.
Sorry to interrupt you, Gordi, but we got the man himself in the shoutcast. Hey, Ducker, congratulations.
Hello, thank you very much.
First thoughts. How was the match? How did you experience it? It was really close from our point of view.
It was really close. I mean, I don't know how Buff did on the maps that I won, but I can believe that he did well because he's simply a good player.
Yeah, both did great. Now, Buff got trolled a little bit with Florida Man on Berlin, but then that evened out on Bangkok with Jordan at your case. And then, yeah, the game wasn't really cooperating on Haven for him. And he was a bit unlucky with scale on the timing for Blake with the audio lure, the audio device. But
unlucky.
It was really, really close, man.
Yeah, the result shows it. He did take my pick, Bangkok, and of course Santa Fortuna. But I believe that it could have been a lot closer than it was here. If only the game worked consistently.
Well, the thing being, I should imagine when you watch it back, and you will watch it back, because, you know...
Yes.
When you watch it back, you'll know how close it was, because it was tight. It was extremely tight. And it could have still gone either way. But, no, you just got to keep going. And how do you do that, man? Last time we spoke to you in a final conversation after the match, You were 4-0 down and brought it back for the win. How do you keep on plugging on? Is it what sort of drugs? That's what I want to know.
There isn't really a tactic that I have. I just play. I don't give up. I just continue playing. So I guess I just show that I can. I don't give up. That I still have confidence that I can turn around even a 4-0 disadvantage.
Alright, something I want to know is, did you know that Blake was going to be trapped in there with like a loud weapon and no box?
Oh, I didn't really think that through. I originally wasn't supposed to knock out the guard, but then I realized I will need an SMG so I can clear out the Master of Ceremonies room. So I distracted the guard. I wasn't supposed to do that, but it's just in the moment I didn't think it through really that much.
That's right, yeah, because it looked like you were trying to find like a corner which was soundproof. I'm
Yes.
like, no way.
It was just purely an attempt.
An attempt was made. Very nicely done. 420. Have you got any questions for the champ?
I've got a question actually. So we all know the buff guy practices an absolute ton, right? Would you say you practice as much or more or less
No,
as buff guy?
this tourney I really didn't practice almost at all. I just practiced like maybe an hour before the match. I just remember the strats and try to remember as much from the maps that I can. But most of my wins come from past experience, because in the past I did practice much and found many shortcuts or improvisations to put in the maps. So I just basically remember what I did use to practice. For this tourney, I'd say my form was very low. That I didn't really practice much. Just remember the things I did practice before.
Got a cracking memory, mate.
I think the saying is form is temporary, class is permanent. I think you showed that again. GG's is how we would say it in this world, I believe. Absolutely,
Thank you.
GG's.
Thank you. Of course, well played, the buff guy. He was the winners club. He was in the winners club part of the final. He did beat me in our first match, but yeah, I guess just was a bit unlucky here. But congratulations still to him. Second place is not bad at all.
Yeah, certainly Buff comes back next time as a returning finalist. Certainly a very well-deserved accolade. He played extremely well. He was playing well today. You both, as Throaty said, had some, how do we put it, hitman moments. Some absolute bullshit there. But that aside, you've got to play what's in front of you. And you certainly did that. So, again, GG's.
Thank you.
Yeah, 6 titles, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah, 6 is a bit much, really.
Yeah, it's far too much.
Well, I'm sure you want more, right?
Take one away.
Yeah, I can't wait for Roulette Travels 8 now. Hopefully I will have more time to practice.
I mean, we're a couple months away from that, so you should be fine.
Yeah.
Buff is currently learning how to dox and DDoS and do all that sort of good stuff, IP hack and whatnot. See if you can't get your PlayStation account banned, so you have to do all your spins, no loadout.
Good job he's on Xbox, isn't it?
Yeah, Xbox.
Don't tell Buff that. But GG's, man.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you to all the admins who did great work to organize the tourney. Thanks to the shoutcasters and to all the viewers consistently watching and making the tourney alive. It's a great pleasure to participate in such tourneys as always.
Very glad to hear, man. But
Ja,
the
ik ook
tournament
wel
is
lekker,
is not over. We got a second final, the PC
Oh,
Grand
of
final.
course.
To inform everyone, I was checking everything behind the scenes. The PC Grand Final will start in 35 minutes, so we're gonna have a little break. I will end the stream now and be back in